some of you recognize. But he's behind the scenes a lot because he does all that audio-visual stuff. But he has another side. You see, he actually worked for a living for 31 years. Doug Ragland was with Mississippi Power. Did all sorts of stuff. He did stuff. They had town meetings, and they had threatened to lynch him. They never did that. I think you remember. Okay.
Hey, Russ, they can't hear you over here.
We can't.
Can't hear over there. You never decided to make the sound. Wait till the thing starts and then complain.
Kind of stand in the middle.
Okay. We will. Doug will handle it. All right. Take it from the top. Okay. All right. Doug was also head of engineering at Southern Company, Fossil and Hydro Engineering. For 31 years, but he is also a Greek scholar. Actually, there was a sleep survey at the University of Alabama that Doug participated in, and they verified when he's really studying Greek, he dreams in Greek. Please help me welcome Doug Ragland.
Good turnout, considering it's Mother's Day and the class after slave. When Russ talked to me about taking this week, I quickly noticed that slave was the week before me, and I said, well, I guess I'll take that, but I don't imagine anybody else really wants to follow him. Great lesson last week. I am not a Greek scholar, nor an expert, and he introduced me that way. Scholar implies more study than I have done. An expert comes from two words, ex and spurt. An ex is a has-been, and a spurt is a grip under pressure. Now, I had 2 semesters of the Koine, or Common Greek, 40 years ago. How much can you remember from 40 years ago? I cannot read from the Greek text. I can only do word studies using 3 textbooks. And they are the actual Greek text, a Greek lexicon, and a copy of a Greek grammar book. And over a period of time, if you assign me a word you want me to look up for you, I can figure out something about that word. But don't, if I want to do a whole verse, it's going to take me a month to do each word. But I am really intrigued by the things that did not come through in the English when the Bible was translated to the original Greek. The Greek is a very expressive language. I characterize myself as a once elementary student of the Greek who has retained enough learning to laboriously discern one word at a time. In other words, enough knowledge to be dangerous. The Koine, or Common Greek, was spread to the Mediterranean and the Middle East areas by Alexander the Great. Thus it was called a common language. Alexander the Great wanted all this business and commerce over everything that he had captured, and so he used his Greek language to accomplish that. Today, what is the language of business and industry worldwide? English. At this time it was Greek. Greek would be the best language for the gospel writers and the Paul and the other epistles, the best language to write in. Why? Because people could read and understand it throughout all of that, at that time, the known world. During the, I just said all that. But overcame the barriers of all the communication so that they were able to easily converse with one another. Now, I think I have said in this class before that Greek was a dead language and died out. It did not die out, but it is a dead language. What do I mean by that? Well, it's the great-grandfather of the Greek spoken today, and it compares to the Greek of today the way Chaucer compares to the English of today. hard to understand. It is the liturgical language of the Greek Orthodox Church. In other words, their High Mass. For the Catholic Church would be in Latin. For the Greek Orthodox Church would be in the Koine Greek. And many who speak today's Greek think that the Koine Greek of the New Testament sounds like a foreign language to them. Many English and Latin words have their roots in the Koine Greek. You may have taken Latin in high school, and you learned that it would help you with your English. But the Latin words came from the Greek. Many of the Latin words came from the Greek, and then into Latin, and then from Latin into English. Example, pneuma. Okay, we got one of these things. Pneuma is an example of that. Pneuma is a Greek word. It has a couple of meanings. One of the meanings is wind, and we incorporate it into our word pneumonia, which is with a silent P. And what does it mean? What is pneumonia? Well, it's a disease of the wind system. So that's a word that came into our language. Another one is ball. Ball is a verb in the Greek, but we have a noun, ball. And our noun came from the Greek verb. A ball is, what is a ball? What is a ball? What are you doing?
Brown.
The answer I'm looking for, let's go back. The answer I'm looking for, a ball is something you throw. Ball is the Greek verb throw. Our noun for a thing that you throw is ball. So it comes out of the same language. So I want to look at a few New Testament words, because often it takes a phrase or even a sentence or even a paragraph to bring all the nuances and meanings of the Greek into English. If you look at Matthew 27:38, you remember that Jesus was crucified between two thieves. Well, the word thieves is in the King James Version. If you have an NIV, you notice it's robbers. Well, which is it? The word thieves is the Greek word kleptes. Kleptes, thief, whatever. Kleptomaniac is a thief, right? Okay, there's another one that came into our language from Greek. The word robbers, the word there is lestai for robbers, and that is actually the word that's in the original text. So Jesus was crucified between two robbers, not two thieves. What's the difference? Well, a thief takes property of others by stealth, slips it away, where a robber takes property of others by force. A robber is a badder guy. More badder. You remember the Good Samaritan fell into a band of robbers who beat him and left him for dead. These were bad people, not pickpockets, like thieves might be, or somebody that's a kleptomaniac, just slipping stuff away and you not really knowing who took it. These are people who will hurt you. And so Jesus was crucified not between two thieves, but between two robbers. If you look at Romans 8:19, our word is apakareidokia, dizokia. I don't know if I said that right, and nobody does. Nobody knows how these words were pronounced in the first century, because nobody's around speaking that language. I said it didn't die out, and I want to elaborate on that a minute because I rushed by it too fast. The language continued to change. There were forms of Greek before the Koine Greek. About 300 years before Christ, the great Greek philosophers Plato and Aristotle wrote all of their philosophy thoughts down in a Greek that's known as Classical Greek.
It's a forerunner of Koine Greek.
What does Koine mean?
Koine means common. Common. It was common throughout the area. It was a common language of the time in the known world. Koine. Koinonia is a Greek word that we translate as fellowship, having things in common. You know, if we all get together and we bring potluck, what is that? We're having things in common. That's koinonia, that's fellowship. But it's having things in common. So it's the common Greek, and that's the Greek of the New Testament. Over time it changed, but you can go back, and what scholars do is they go and find all these documents that were written in the first century, same time that our Bible was written, and they find how these words were used, and they discern what the meaning was, snapshot in time at that time. That's what it meant right then. It may mean something else different. Now, our language is changing. I have seen words change during my lifetime.
Text, you certainly have seen.
Yeah, well, yeah. Spellings have changed, haven't they? LOL is 3 different words. But if you will think about it, the word awful changed. Awful means what? Bad. All full of awe means what? Just the other way around. That's what it originally meant. It has changed. One that has changed during our lifetime that I find amusing when I see it is decadent. You hear that a lot in the culinary world these days. A decadent dessert, a decadent meal. Oh, this is decadent. If you look it up in an old dictionary, and I have one I took to college many years ago, and I looked it up in that one, and it says, in decline, failing. Why does anybody want you to come to their restaurant and eat food that is in decline and failing? Well, they changed the name of it. I think it's all part of that so bad it's good. You know, oh, you bad, man, you bad, meaning you're good. And so decadent is one of those words. So the language changes as we use it. And the Koine Greek did the same thing. But scholars, by focusing on all the documents they can find from that era, are able to discern what the meanings were then, as opposed to what they might be later. This word that I mispronounced probably is translated, where did I do? All right. Now, it is a compound word translated earnest expectation. 3 root words. The first root word is apo, meaning from afar. From afar. Richard, not a fire. Didn't come from afar, take their far trip down there, afar. Kara, meaning the head. And zoken, to wait for. You put all that together, and I want you to think of a man on a railroad station platform looking in the direction from which the train will come. And so it suggests the idea of one who waits with his head raised, his eyes steadfastly fixed on the point in the distance from which he expects the object will appear. That's Guy and Wood's translation of that one word. How many words did it take to do that one word? But that would be, the first readers would have understood all of that from that one word. Mark 2:9, arise, take up your bed, and walk. The Greek word, I was punching the wrong button here. Well, that didn't do it. Where was I? Needed more practice with this. Arise, take up your bed, and walk. Egarei is an aorist aorist tense. Aorist simply means one time. It's one-time action as opposed to continuous action. One time. And it is imperative, which means it's a command for arise. So one time, you get up, command from Jesus. Aronon is an aorist, one-time imperative command again for take your bed. So one time arise, a command. One time take up your bed, command to do that. And then the third word, and walk, present tense, which means continuous action in present time. And it is also an imperative, a command. So he's commanded to arise one time, take up your bed one time, and walk and continue to walk. All of that, 3 words in the Greek, and a whole slide up here for us to discuss that in English. Keep on walking. Familiar to you all is Matthew 7:7. Ask and you shall receive. Seek, say it with me, you shall receive. Knock. Okay. The first word is imperative. It means it's a command. It's present tense, which means continuous action in present time. You keep on asking, continuously ask. It's not a one-time ask and you're going to get it. Keep on asking, keep on asking. Likewise, keep on seeking. Not just one-time seek and you're going to find it, but keep on seeking. Continuously seek. Continuously seek. And then the third word, what? Keep on knocking. Earnestly keep on rapping at the door. Keep knocking. And then the second verb in the sentence is future tense in each one of those phrases, which means ask, keep on asking, and in the future you shall find. Keep on what? Seeking, and in the future you will find. Keep on knocking, and in the future it will be open to you. That many words on a slide to get the same meaning out of it as those 3 simple words in Greek. And we miss that. It almost sounds to me like the door opens, you know. It's not that at all. Keep on. Oh, I get tired of knocking, but keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on. And in God's time, it will open. Luke 10:40, with the story of Martha and Mary. We won't read that like the others, but what I want to point out to you is the word that's translated help. Sunantilia betai, something like that. It's a compound word whose literal meaning is stand over on the opposite side from me and take hold of the work so that the 2 of us working together can get the job done. That's what the first readers would understand. What do we understand? I need help. If 2 of us are working, we can get it done twice as fast. No. That's not what they mean. You get on the other side and help me lift this thing. I can't lift it by myself. And move it so that we can get it done. It's that type of a thing. The help is needed to get the job done. What does Jesus say? That's not the job I need done right now. That's not important right now. What is important? Huh?
Listen to me.
Okay. Now, in Romans 8:26, where it says the Spirit helps us, the whole sense of the thing is that the Spirit says, stand over on the opposite side of me and take hold of the work so that the 2 of us working together can get the job done. The Spirit helps us that way. It helps us do a job we can't do by ourselves. Stan's a big man on the Spirit. You nodding in agreement on that one? Jesus wept, shortest verse in the Bible. John 11:35. Wept is from this verb right here. And the interesting thing about it is it comes from a word that means to shed tears silently. I always had the picture of Jesus just sobbing out loud when Jesus wept. But it's more like a picture of a tear rolling down his cheek, silently with no noise at all. So compare that to Luke 19:41, where it says, Jesus wept over the city. In this case, it's a different word. It's a different word than the silently wept. It means audibly, loudly sobbing, that he wept over the city. We only have one word. They have multiple words in that language. Weep audibly, cry like a child. Matthew 5:16, good deeds, good works. Kala means good, and erga means works. So it says good deeds in our Bible, but good works is the literal translation. So good is limited in English to a moral quality or not bad. But kala means that, but it also includes that which is beautiful, harmonious, lovely, and symmetrical. So good works must stand out as beautiful. Something I'd never thought about before. Tony asked me one day to look into this word about whether there are mansions in heaven. If John 14 talks about, in my Father's house are many mansions. We sang Victory in Jesus this morning, and what did it talk about? What was the word in that song? Did you catch it? Got a mansion, just da-da-da-da-da. Okay. When I looked into that, I found the noun is from meno, which is a verb, means stay, abide, dwell. So it's the noun version is a place to stay, an abode, a dwelling place, a room. Nowhere do we see mansion in that. The Bible doesn't mention a mansion. What's the matter, Tony? You wanted a mansion, didn't you?
No, I knew that when Martin Luther translated it from Latin, he used the word vernugen, which means apartments.
Many places to stay, many places to dwell. So don't expect a mansion. A hot and a cot is what he is preparing for us, a hot and a cot. Place to stay. Basically have exhausted what I prepared for you today, and it's about right because it's 11:25 and he's got to do a drawing. But I do want to take a minute and ask if there are any questions or comments at this point before I turn it back over to Russ Brown. Questions or comments? If not, then thank you.